Hey all, it's Donnie Mangos again from the Mangos Method. Okay, in the previous video you heard me talk about what investing is. Now I know a lot of you are probably not experienced with investing, so hopefully you got a grasp of what that means. And if you didn't, by all means press pause on this one, click below on video number 2 and just re-watch what I said about investing and what that means, okay? I'll be here when you get back, so take your time, alright? Really at a high level, what I wanted to communicate to you guys was there's 3 different ways to make money investing. So first one is investment income. That's pretty much standard. You know you're going to make money each month and there's certainty in what you're going to make. That's called investment income. Second one is dividends. And the third one is capital gains. Capital gains are when you buy something for one price, it sells for another price. That gain that you make on the difference between what you bought it for and what you sold it for, that's a capital gain. And the reason why I'm talking about this, the reason why I'm even bringing this up is because Revenue Canada cares about how you make money. Depending on if it's the first way, second way, or the third way, there's different tax implications. A high interest savings account or a GIC, that is fully taxable. Whatever dollar you make in that format is fully taxable. Dividends are treated a bit better in terms of tax status. Still not as good as the last way, which is capital gain. So if you make $30,000 in income, in investment income, and it comes in category 1, all of that money is taxable. If it comes in category 2, definitely it's more like 2/3 of it are taxable in that way. And then in category 3, only half of that amount is taxable. So it doesn't matter what percentage you're making at that level. What matters is how much money you're making after tax. Okay, that's a big deal and it doesn't get talked about. Investment advisors that I've talked to, they don't really go into the details as to how that affects you on an after-tax level. And honestly, that's all that matters. After tax is everything, because that's how much you see. It's a great coincidence that investing in real estate, one of the biggest ways of making money is in capital gains over the years. And it's a tax preferential status, so it's not a bad way to make money. One thing I didn't bring up in the previous video, because I was talking about investing, but a lot of our own homes, they should be considered investments. I mean, you should be thinking of it as an investment. The best thing about having a property in Canada that you're living in, the gains you make on that property are 100% tax-free gains. Mic drop. The most expensive asset that you own, likely, happens to be an asset that appreciates and makes you money without any tax implications. So, if you're not a believer in real estate ownership and real estate investing, I can't understand why you would not want to own your own home that appreciates in a tax-free way. Anyway, my thoughts on that. Alright, you've probably heard of the terms property ladder. What that means is that you can visualize a ladder, and there's rungs on there, there's steps on there, and you gotta start somewhere. You gotta start from the bottom, the entry-level stuff, before you can make your way up to the top. And the top being a very expensive condo, apartment building, you gotta start small. You gotta start somewhere in order to bridge that gap. The purpose of this video, I'm gonna be talking about my own property ladder experience and where I was, what I did to change that, how I climbed the property ladder, and now where I'm at. For a guy who's 40 years old and has a great work-life balance, I would say I'm well on my way to climbing that property ladder. All right, property number 1. Property number 1 was the very first condo I ever bought. It was a pre-construction condo. It was not really downtown in Toronto. It was more in the suburbs, and I bought a condo that cost $130,000 for a 1-bed condo, and I was able to buy it pre-construction with 5% down back then. So my condo, my first purchase, I had to spend $6,500. $6,500, and I got a condo. I mean, I also took over a lot of the responsibilities of the mortgage and all that, but $6,500 back then got me started. I knew I didn't want to be in that condo. I lived in it for a little while. I let it appreciate a little bit. I sold it at around $165,000. Now, all that money that I made was, again, tax-free because it was my principal residence. I took that and I looked for a condo downtown. Now, I didn't want to do pre-construction. I wanted to be in a property. So I wasn't buying it as an investment per se. I was buying it as a lifestyle choice. I wanted to be in the city and I wanted to be in a condo that I was happy with. Bought a condo, property number 2, and it cost me $185,000. Okay, so property number 2, held that for a little while, and then I sold that condo for $250,000. And I bought another pre-construction condo downtown. This third property was probably the greatest decision that we had made. I bought it with my girlfriend at the time, now wife. We bought a condo pre-construction, and it was large, and it was in an area that was downtown but on the outskirts of downtown, and it was really changing, really gentrifying. We bought that property for $315,000, did some upgrades to the condo, and we ended up selling it for $675,000. So you can see where I'm going here with the ladder. We took some of that money and we bought another pre-construction condo. So property number 4 was a condo. It was a 2-bed condo way outside of downtown now, but we were going to go into exploring the 2-bed options, bigger. Turns out we ended up living in that condo at some point, and we sold the one that we were in before that. At that point, we were mortgage free. We had one little baby 6 years ago, and we were mortgage free. I'm a big believer in that saying, if you're not moving, you're standing still. Well, being mortgage free really meant that I wasn't also growing. I kind of enjoy using leverage. I kind of enjoy using lent money, borrowed money to buy other places. Because why not? Money is not expensive these days. So we're there, we're mortgage free, we're living in the condo with a little baby, but we knew we wanted to get into a freehold house. Freehold is the distinction between a house and a condo. Okay, that's just terminology. So we wanted to buy a freehold house, and we did. We bought our freehold home, and it cost us just under $800,000, and we got into our beautiful semi-detached 3-story Victorian. This was my first true hands-on experience with renovation. We used this opportunity to renovate, increase wealth in the home, increase our own equity by putting effort and money towards renovating the house, making it beautiful. A few renovations later, the house is gorgeous, it's appreciated tremendously, and we're in a good spot. Now, all along the way, opportunities keep coming, pre-construction condos, so we bought a few of those. Wasn't looking for it, ended up in a commercial transaction where I was a partner along with some others in a commercial building that we were renovated for an office. Now all this is happening and it snowballs, and with each one it's a lot easier to decide and to spot opportunities for the next one. So it's been a lot of fun, and it gets easier and easier as you get going. Definitely the hardest purchase that I had made was the very first one. And that was for the smallest stakes. Now we've bought and sold a few times. It's really not very scary. And every single transaction has been a financially beneficial situation. Every one. We've never sold at a loss. We've never sold anywhere near a loss. And we've benefited from an amazing market, of course. But we don't have to sell in a loss if we don't want to. That's the beauty of ownership. You could sell when you want to. And if it isn't the best time, then you don't do it and you rent it out. So you can bridge those gaps. Okay, fast forward to the time of this recording. Now here I am, and where are we today? Currently have 2 condos that are occupied by tenants, and they're really held for each of my daughters, so they can decide, later on in the future if they want to stay in Toronto, they could occupy one of those properties, they could rent it out, sell it, whatever we decide, we have options. We have 2 triplexes, so 2 3-unit houses that have 3 separate tenants. And we also have 2 family homes, one that we live in and one that we are building. Also have 1 other condo that's in pre-construction. That should be ready in a couple of years. So full disclosure, that's where I'm at these days with real estate investing. Now I personally manage each of these properties. The renovations, the tenants, all that kind of stuff. It falls under my umbrella, and it's something that I enjoy doing. It's something that I want to continue to do. And I can help you understand that it's not the scariest thing. Yeah, there are some bad apples, sure. Yeah, you get some tenants sometimes that just don't do things the way you want them to be done. And that's okay, that's gonna happen. But for the majority of it, it's not that bad at all, guys. It really is not that bad. As of now, as of this recording, I receive 6 monthly paychecks, 6 monthly rental checks each month. When the new triplex is done, that's gonna be 9. That'll be 9 paychecks that find their way to me. These places aren't paid off. I mean, a lot of the money comes in, I've got to pay it out in terms of mortgage and maintenance and all that kind of stuff. But pretty soon, I will blink. Another 10 years will go by, and those properties will be very close to being paid off. And now I've got options. If I want, that's my pension. all these checks are going to come in, and that's my pension. The pension is not going to deplete. It's not going to be reduced. It's my money, and for as long as I want it, it'll continue to pay me. As long as there's a need for people to live in Toronto, wink wink, you know, that's a pretty sure thing. In my case, there will be rental income. If I decide that, you know what, I'm 75 years old, I want to take a tour of the world with my wife on a boat, we could sell a property and abandon one stream and use all that money and go do what we want to do. Like, we have options. That's my point with all this. And we couldn't have got there if we didn't start off with the $6,500 that I put down in that condo many years ago. Now, 6.5 is a very different number today. Yes, the principle absolutely still applies today. All of these paychecks that are coming in, that's passive income, right? Like, I'm actually not working for it. It doesn't matter if I'm there or not. The money is finding its way into my pocket. That's passive income. And this is my plan for creating that never-ending stream of passive income. So this past summer, we were in Italy. We rented a villa in Italy, a few families, but here I am in Tuscany, watching my kids jumping around in the pool, having a glass of wine, sitting on a terrace. And my phone dings, and I look down, and there we go. I saw 3 different emails of people paying me money, the tenants paying me money. The best days of my life for sure were my wedding day, the day my daughters were born, all that. But this was up there as the best day of my life for sure. I'm in paradise. I'm not even thinking about work right now. And people are paying me money. I didn't even ask for it, they're just giving it to me. That created a complete awareness change for me. It made me feel like I need more of this, and I want to be able to do this forever. So what's next? In the next video, I'm going to talk specifically about my triplex. I'm going to tell you about how I found the triplex, how I bought it, how I financed it, and all of that. Most importantly, I'm going to show you how I bought it, paid for it temporarily. Now I have an asset that I don't have any money personally invested in anymore. I've created $140,000 in wealth just in that one asset, and I have a money printing machine that is a cash flow cow in that triplex. Okay? It's all possible. You now know a guy who's actually pulled this off and is willing to share all that information with you. You're going to have to watch that video. It's going to be amazing. Okay? You're also going to have to watch it because near the end I will have an offer for you. I'm going to show you a plan to get you to follow in those same footsteps. If you want change, if you really want change, if you want the kind of change that I have created for myself, if you want this for yourself, I'm here to show you how to do that. So watch out for the next video. There's going to be an offer at the end of that tells you what you can do to get that process started. Any questions or comments, fire away, guys. Happy to answer them. And again, feel free to share this with 3 people that you know that could benefit from this kind of knowledge, all right?